This is Sybert signing in to Kane's Wrath. We are on Tournament Rift, and we have MasterLeaf going to be playing as the Green Reaper 17, and then Green Zero as the Pink Black Hand, which is just so odd because Green Zero loves to play that green color. Also, isn't a huge fan of Black Hand, although he does play it every once in a while from what I can tell. However, of course, MasterLeaf is a huge fan and is very well known for going for that Reaper 17. Going to be going for just 2 assimilators so far, and it looks like Green Zero, interestingly enough, not deciding to go for a lot of aggression with his Confessor Cabal squads. Going to be bringing up some early scouting squads, and of course he's going to be seeing if he can cut across the map with this guy over here, that Confessor squad, to see if he can cut across and catch an Engineer. We'll have to see if he's able to, but anyways, this is from the Kane's Wrath July Ladder Wars. This is the finals, skip the semifinals, and also the third place matches, just went straight to the finals. Got tons of replays to cast, but I did want to cover this tournament. I like to cover tournaments as much as possible. That Confessor Cabal squad going to be getting taken out. I thought there was only a couple of squads there, but there were a couple of more buzzer squads than I thought there were, which is exactly what I meant to say. Definitely no confusion there. Looks like he will get the drop on that one squad, which means he might be able to snipe the Engineer. However, we do have, it looks like, Harvesters going to be coming out for likely both of our players. MasterLeaf maybe just a second ahead on that Harvester production, likely because of, Green Zero went for that Operations Center, so he's going to be getting himself possibly a Flame Tank, although it could be just for a sell-off. He might just be not necessarily looking to go for a Flame Tank. Yes, he is. And it gets spotted immediately by MasterLeaf. Now, what is his response? That is, of course, going to be very important. He needs to get some Seeker Tanks out there at some point and get them a little bit out away from his base so that he can take down this Flame Tank before it gets to him. Because if you wait, and you're like, I'm going to hide behind some buildings, and then, you know, not tank a lot of damage from the Flame Tank, that is just not going to be working out very well. But again, Green Zero actually going for a dual Flame Tank rush, and he's keeping that Operations Center around. He's already upgraded the power plant, so he doesn't really need to keep the Operations Center. He could be going for a Reckoner or another Flame Tank just because, although we'll have to see. One Flame Tank does get pulled back, and this could actually be a really nice juke by Green Zero, depending on where this second Flame Tank ends up going. Neither one of these players securing the bottom spikes. Green Zero going to be on the move with his MCV, running it pretty close to the rift there. So if there was a hit squad there for the MCV, might have been able to take out the MCV. However, the Flame Tank going to be moving out around south, and it might actually sneak on by the second Flame Tank going to be heading in. There's actually going to be 3 Flame Tanks, so yes, Green Zero did decide to go for that third Flame Tank. And is MasterLeaf actually going to be prepared for this, as apparently S's are difficult to pronounce currently. Holy cow, how many Flame Tanks are you going for? Green Zero with not just a Flame Tank rush, he's going like mass Flame Tank rush. I was wondering why he was keeping that Operations Center around so long. He's rocking 3 and 1 in that northern field, which is going to be pretty good. However, he's going to be able to catch it out because MasterLeaf is like, oh hey, this Flame Tank is down here. Oh no, just kidding, it's up here. Lightning Spike gets thrown down right next to it, but that's not going to be a big deal at all. Green Zero going to be able to torch the majority of this base. One Seeker Tank is currently on the field. A couple of more going to be added on, but now it's an elite Flame Tank. Almost able to take out that War Factory. Where are the other Flame Tanks? Are they just chilling out around south? Looks like they might be in the middle of the map. Flame Tank number 2 going to be coming in. There's 3 Seekers on the field. A 4th one going to be swinging around the side of that Nerve Center. Takes it out. Nerve Center is now down, which means we could see some Storm Riders. That would be quite the investment at this point for MasterLeaf, but it would help him deal with these Flame Tanks quite readily. For now, Seeker Tanks, he's at a nice, comfortable number of Seeker Tanks. On the left side here, we've got another Flame Tank, but Green Zero, his distraction with these Flame Tanks is really what's allowing him to do as much damage as he can. MasterLeaf's been forced to split up his Seeker Tanks, and as a result, he hasn't had full strength in any one location. Did some damage, but which one of these players actually came out ahead? Probably Green Zero, just because he's already got his economy established on that southern field. But really, I think that MasterLeaf may have actually harvested more Tiberium at this point. He did have the second refinery up, and Green Zero just getting his second refinery at his second field, going to be adding on his 3rd total refinery, getting 3 Harvesters rocking on that southern field. However, eliminating the Engineer down south was nice, and also taking out the Tiberium Spike was another great move there by Green Zero. Green Zero, I think, just needs to go for either Bike, Buggy, or some Scorpion Tanks. However, the big problem with going for anything that's not a huge spam of units is MasterLeaf loves his cultists. So anytime you try to go for a few units that's really powerful, unless it's, you know, the Redeemer and a couple of Venoms or something, you're not going to be able to deal with the cultists most likely. However, MasterLeaf going to be avoiding most of the damage here. Green Zero, can he actually snipe down one of these Seekers? Will be able to snipe down at least 2 of them. The second one gets eliminated. And yeah, man, Seeker tanks, they're all right, but against Cabals and even just bikes, they do not do very well at all. Mechapede going to be holding off some of these units. Looked like one Flame Tank did go down there. However, the second Flame Tank rolling in from the south gets eliminated as well. Already up to those Mechapedes, and MasterLeaf just now going to be expanding to the south. So he's still got to get his economy rolling on the southern field, while Green Zero already has his rolling up and good. Could actually add on a third refinery if he wants. Not too big of a deal if he doesn't. Going for that dual war factory, keeping his tech around. Decided not to sell that off, so he's like, well, I'd rather keep it for the long-term benefit rather than the short-term cash boost that I would get from that. Harvester's going to be coming in, but rather attack bikes coming in for most likely some Harvester snipes. Green Zero is going to be a little bit disappointed that MasterLeaf doesn't actually have any economy on this field, and there's nothing building just yet. MasterLeaf may just be looking to pump out a ton of Mechapedes and go for a big frontal assault. We'll have to see. Attack bike's going to be rolling in. A number of these are going to be hallucinations. We'll have to see if any of them do absorb shots. Yeah, a couple of them do absorb shots for actual bikes, so losing only 2 bikes there, that's not a huge deal at all. Green Zero going to be rocking that second field, which is going to be a huge advantage for him. And I mean, he's still got plenty of Tiberium on his main field to make that worth it, but losing the drone platform could be a huge deal. Well, it's going to be a huge deal. It could be game ending for MasterLeaf. He's going to be having absolutely nothing other than this field, which is soon going to be dried up. And if he's not able to deal with these bikes, Seeker Tank's going to be coming in, but the Mechapedes are going to be running away, which means it's not even going to be a trap because it's just going to be bikes escaping on out of there. Might actually be able to take down. Well, another Seeker Tank does go down. One more may get eliminated, but with the follow-up of just huge amounts of... Oh, man, this could actually be a great move by Green Zero. Look at this. The entire main base of MasterLeaf is completely undefended because he's been trying to deal with these bikes. So if these Flame Tanks hit at just the right time with the massive bikes, this could be a great move by Green Zero. We'll have to see if MasterLeaf is able to deal with it. It will absolutely take all of his control to possibly even deal with this, and it's just going to be overwhelming numbers. One Mechapede does go down. The second one is going to be getting possibly eliminated. The Flame Tank does get spotted, but even if he takes out all of this stuff, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to stop Green Zero from the roll that he is currently on? Tier 3 is already out. Going to be going for the Harvesters, going for the the drone ship. This is got to be GG for MasterLeaf right here. He was able to face 3 of his Harvesters, which means he won't lose any, but right there, the drone ship goes down. I think Tibcore just finished as well, which means that you can't have that many Mechapedes, MasterLeaf. You can't have enough to deal with that many bikes, rather. There's no way that he would have had enough Mechapedes to deal with that. As you can see, Green Zero just absolutely skyrocketing in that game. And really, that mass Flame Tank at the beginning, somewhat unorthodox, but it really ended up paying off for him in just about 8 minutes, able to carve almost a double income difference between himself. And you saw that double War Factory attack bike spam just one Green Zero that game, and throwing in those hallucinations certainly didn't hurt either. MasterLeaf trying to play his faster teching style, which, I mean, has won him a lot of games. Didn't end up winning game number 1, but this is a best of 5 series. I don't think I actually mentioned that, but we are going to be heading into game number 2. Let's see if MasterLeaf can bring it back and start throwing punches of himself. That doesn't make any sense, but game number 2 coming right up. Which takes us to tournament decision, and MasterLeaf is once again going to be that Reaper 17. He is in the southwest position and spawning in the northeast once again as Green, returning to his namesake color. We've got Green Zero playing not as Black Hand, but as Nod, so he's just going to be vanilla Nod. Nothing too special there, but we'll have to see, because, of course, MasterLeaf got to choose the map since he was a loser, and Green Zero decided to change his faction, so we'll have to see exactly why he decided to do that, because given up the power of the Black Hand, I mean, maybe he just felt like, you know what, I'm up 1 game, I can be a little bit chancy in this next game, play a faction that maybe isn't necessarily as strong, but we'll have to see if Green Zero is going to be making use of any sort of stealth tactics, or maybe of some aircraft, anything like that. We'll have to end up seeing. Looks like his refinery is going to be a little bit behind MasterLeaf's, but then again, Green Zero did go for the dual barracks opener, and MasterLeaf just went for that one barracks. MasterLeaf not even going to be going for dual spike, I don't think, although, admittedly, I may have missed the second engineer. I did indeed sent it around the other side of that ridge instead of up the middle, which, I mean, up the middle probably makes less sense just because there's more threat of the opponent. However, first war factory, rather, going to be coming up as the first refinery is already here. So after that opener, pretty standard play, all things considered, just this far. We'll have to see. Green Zero, what is he going to be going for? Is he going to be adding on a second power plant and then going for another refinery and then going for his, like, 3 and 7? Or is he indeed going to be going for more flame tanks? I just really wanted to buy time until that building finished to make sure that it was an operations center. So Green Zero could be going for some flame tank type tactics. We'll have to see if it ends up working out, because at this point, MasterLeaf really does need more scouting squads around the map. One little militant guy there managed to survive an attack with a buzzer squad, but ultimately, if this is more just flame tanks, this could actually end up hitting in a really big way. However, if Green Zero decided to go for a flame tank rush, I'm not exactly sure why he decided to play Nod instead of just playing Black Hand, but it could have to do with the follow-up. If they head down south, MasterLeaf will spot them nice and early, but the flame tank is going to be heading right through the middle, gets spotted by the Seeker tank, will be taking some damage from the Seeker tank. No, yes, just kidding. Right there, MasterLeaf is going to be heading over and like, oh, now I have to deal with the flame tank, but he is taking damage to the rear armor, which is not good for Green Zero. He does manage to turn around, going to be setting up the expansion as well, and there is going to be the second flame tank on the way. Is there going to be a third one? Quite possibly. Flame tank in the middle trying to deal with this Seeker tank. It will be getting eliminated, and it will be, though, one in the south will be getting spotted as well. And it looks like Green Zero may actually be getting another flame tank. Could be a 3 flame tank rush. However, will maybe get 1 Seeker. We'll have to see if he ends up actually getting any of these, or if he's just getting taken out like he did right there. And then the second flame tank on the south side. Is there a third flame tank? No, he just went for another harvester. Not that I disagree with that in any way, but a fast expand as well. This is actually reminiscent of what Technique did in the vanilla-only tournament against Bonus. So we'll have to see. Green Zero, is it going to be working out? It worked out great in Game 1, but the Seeker tanks, they're not in position at all. And, oh, bringing in the holographic flame tank, going to be trying to draw fire, but I don't know if it'll actually work. He may very well be diverting Seekers. No response from MasterLeaf. The auto response right there from the Seeker tanks. They're not actually doing anything, though, and Green Zero going to be going for the flank with... He will snipe the tech for sure, which will completely delay... No, it doesn't delay the Tier 3 at all. Mechapede still could be on the field. However, if he loses the refinery, it'll be absolutely huge. Doesn't lose the refinery, but then also... Oh, MasterLeaf just facepalmed a little bit there as he wastes that stasis field on that fake flame tank, which of course he thought it was a real flame tank, which is the power of it being a fake flame tank. Regardless, Green Zero going to be setting up his expansion at some point. I would imagine, after the lightning spike, not going to be doing a whole lot. Throwing down the barracks, but sells it off immediately. And of course, MasterLeaf will be able to see that he would still have vision of that area. So he should know it's not too much of a man spam if Green Zero did indeed sell off that barracks. Nice little pocket of power plants could end up biting Green Zero in the butt if MasterLeaf is able to get some units back there. Could end up being a really big deal, but probably won't be. In the meantime, MasterLeaf going for the Mechapeds, but also Stasis Chamber. He has got himself a Prodigy. Is he going to be adding on any cultists? We could see some pretty crazy teleporting abilities. The drone ship moving out to the expansion. Green Zero still hasn't dropped his first refinery on his expansion. I mean, he moved his MCV there oh so early, but ended up not really doing a whole lot with it just yet. However, the beam cannon's going to be coming in. Are they going to be able to do any damage against the Seeker tanks? 2 of them are now out, but they might just end up getting shot down. Is he going to be able to just deal damage against these Seekers while the Seekers are focusing the Harvesters? If he gets 1 Harvester, it may be worth it. However, that Harvester has basically already unloaded all of the Tiberium, and I doubt he's going to be able to get a second one. 3 beam cannons on the field. They're going to be joining their beams together to produce an extremely potent Seeker-killing laser beam that goes pew-pew. A couple of Seeker tanks. Seeker tanks going to be trying to deal with the Scorpion tanks, but the Tier 3 has been spotted. And the Prodigy, where is it? Is it moving out across the map? A couple of Shard Mechas going to be running around as well. Is that? Nope, that's just going to be Tiberium damage. MasterLeaf could really be rocking himself back into this game. if he ends up doing a huge amount of damage with that Mastermind. Not sure where it ended up going. The Prodigy does mind control 3 of those beam cannons teleporting in right there. The other Mechapede does get a... Oh, no! Loses it! Teleports in the Annihilator tripods, but now the beam cannons are back under the control of Green Zero. Will be able to focus down the head of that Mechapede, but he's not doing a great job. He's going to be losing a couple of segments there. Not too big of a deal. Both of the beam cannons did go down. Green Zero going to be really trying to pull together defense, going for dual barracks, just rocket spam, which, I mean, what else can you really do? Oh, gets the snipe on that Mechapede. But buzzers do run in the mid. The militant squad's not going to be enough to deal with them, but the nice sell-off timing there by Green Zero still hasn't dropped a ref on that field. But he's dealing with the tripods, locking down his harvesters. Tripods, are they going to be able to snipe any of the harvesters? They did get the beam cannon, and Green Zero going to be pulling a couple of those harvesters back, but the crush on that harvester, eliminating it completely. MasterLeaf doing quite a bit of damage there with the tripods, going to be following it up with gunwalkers. Oh, that actually could be a really bad idea. If he continues to pump gunwalkers, that could be a huge mistake, just because they're, well, it depends entirely on if Green Zero decides to go for a bunch more infantry or not. Gunwalkers could be very useful, or they could end up not really doing a whole lot. Going to be teleporting the tripod back just in time, which means Green Zero will know that there is a second Prodigy on the way, and the Warp Chasm now on the field, which means we could see some crazy hexalaming going on. Oh, MasterLeaf running that Prodigy right by. Hasn't cleaned out that bunker. Would just take a single buzzer squad, but we'll have to see. Cultists, no, it's actually going to be shock troopers to throw inside of the Mechapede. The Hexapod, rather. But we'll have to see if cultists end up being a part of this game. The economy, I think, has technically been established, but, I mean, there's no harvester there, so what's the point of the refinery? Going to be transferring over a couple of harvesters. Did manage to not take too much damage. Was able to do a fair amount of damage to Green Zero, forcing a lot of buildings and some definite losses for Green Zero. Still hasn't harvested this entire field 8 minutes into the game. But we'll have to see. Another refinery going to be getting thrown down by MasterLeaf. Needs to go ahead and transfer over another harvester or two, and adding on Storm Riders could be absolutely huge. Could also be going for Devastator warships. We'll have to see what the choice is. Of course, if it's going to be obelisks out of Green Zero, he could be in a lot of trouble trying to deal with if Devastator warships are chosen by MasterLeaf. But dealing with this with the Hexapod, can he actually do anything about it? We'll have to see. Could be seeing some very good beam cannon use by Green Zero, although he's going to be heading out with a couple of militant squads into the middle of the map. Hexapod is now moving out. May have actually just splashed that. Gunwalker's like, hey, guess what? The MCV is all packed up, and Green Zero is going to be freaking out. MasterLeaf, can he cut the MCV off with his Gunwalkers? If he can get them in front, he might be able to block the pathing of that, but the beam cannons are going to be focusing down these Gunwalkers relatively quickly here, as they've got about a half dozen or so Gunwalkers all on the field. However, the Prodigy is going to be teleporting or wormholing to the front line, grabs the MCV, or almost, as you can see, Green Zero is packing it and unpacking it to try to avoid it being captured, taking a lot of damage on the MCV, does manage to unpack it at just the last moment. And, I mean, does the Prodigy, did he already use any abilities, or is he going to be able to teleport the Hexapod away? Won't even need to. That wormhole, almost the shortest distance wormhole ever. But Green Zero has held on to his MCV, almost lost it there. Going to be throwing an engineer inside of there, definitely a good choice. But MasterLeaf is in a very strong position, especially adding on Storm Riders, or more likely Devastator warships, although he does have his signal transmitter, which means it could be planetary assault carriers. It will indeed be at least one planetary assault carrier. Green Zero, what does he have to deal with this beam cannons? Is going to be absolutely the wrong unit for sure. Going to be getting possibly Tiberium Infusion, or even Cabal Leader Squad, Cabal Confessor Leaders for his squads would make them a little bit more useful, but Tiberium Infusion will likely be the upgrade of choice. Planetary assault carriers, 2 of them currently on the field. And other than that, MasterLeaf going to be researching possibly shard launchers, or more likely Traveler engines, just to make his aircraft move a little bit faster. We now do have 3 planetary assault carriers. They can be really good, but we've also seen them be really useless. They're expensive, and they're pretty tough to make them actually cost-efficient, just because they don't have absolutely huge DPS. However, we've got a little bit of a man spam here. Do we have any EMP buggies? No, because there's actually no Tier 3 almost this entire game. Actually, has there even been Tier 3 at any point in this game? I'm trying to even think where he threw down the Tech Lab, if at all. However, the beam cannon's going to be charging up. They could be doing huge amounts of damage to the Hexapod. It's going to be down to half health already. Will MasterLeaf let it fall? He needs to teleport it away immediately. Loses the Hexapod. Just gives it away. A huge mistake there. A huge misstep by MasterLeaf. What in the world? He is face-palming or head-desking right now. Planetary Assault Carriers in total, at least 6 of them on the field, maybe even 7. And yeah, that is not going to be very good. Adds on a 7th right there, sells off that gravity stabilizer, but oh, Green Zero making the man spam work. He's like, yeah, I'm Vanilla Nod, what do I care? But the Planetary Assault Carrier, is it going to be a counterattack with them? It could be very, very powerful. There aren't any stealth tanks out on the field, and we do not have any, like, huge amounts of anti-air, which means, oh, MasterLeaf has definitely spotted this army. He knows that it's there, but everything does turn around. Planetary Assault Carriers actually take out the Harvesters, and as a result, reveal themselves to Green Zero. Is he going to be able to defend? A couple of them are going to be flying over, but we'll have to see. There's tons of infantry here. One of them may be getting sniped down. We do have that fully heroic rocket squad from the Hexapod. Drones going down all over the place. Planetary Assault Carriers rolling in from pretty much left, right, and center. Beam cannons being completely worthless. Might actually be worth something to run them over to the base and see if he can do some damage while his infantry are dealing with it. Green Zero has been defeated. Drops game number 2. MasterLeaf going to be taking us into possibly some more games, at least 4 for sure. But Green Zero dropping game number 2 there, as he was just out. He had no anti-air, and that was absolutely what spelled defeat there. But MasterLeaf with a big economic lead in that game, and total about 50,000 credits over the course of 12 minutes. That is absolutely huge. Allowed him to get up those big Planetary Assault Carriers. Expensive. Pretty difficult to get to as well. You have to spend an extra $3 grand in tech just to get there, but we'll have to see. Game number 3 is going to be coming up. This is a best of 5. I believe it should be a best of 5. It's a final series, but MasterLeaf going to be evening up the score, able to hold on against the Flame Tank Rush, and Green Zero, I don't think he ever actually expanded in that game, but we'll have to see. Will he be able to hold on, or will MasterLeaf be taking this series? But game number 3 coming right up, which takes us to Tournament Dust Bowl, and we've got MasterLeaf. He is going to be the blue Traveler 59 in the north, and in the south plane as the green-black hand, we do have Green Zero switching back to black hand. We'll have to see if he's going to be going for double spike or not. MasterLeaf going to be going for refinery first. We'll have to see if this ends up working out for him. Didn't work too well against Bonus, but those were different factions, so we'll have to see if this ends up working out. It looks like it will be double engineer for Green Zero. Should be adding on one more. Nope, not going to be adding on one more squad. He's like, you know what? Forget that. Oh, he does actually have 2 Confessor Cabal squads there. Regardless, it is going to be a best of 3 series, which is exceedingly odd, at least to me, that Ladder Wars are a best of 3 series. Apparently, maybe I'm just used to best of 5 and Red Alert 3. But that is going to be how it is, so this is actually going to be a shorter series than I thought it was going to be. But Green Zero going to be following it up possibly with a War Factory after this, most likely. MasterLeaf does already have his, but of course he did skip that barracks, so he's going to have a nice little lead. Going for that Seeker Tank first, really just a scouting unit. Isn't going to be able to do any damage at all. I mean, you can hardly do damage in the early game with just a single Seeker Tank to begin with, and against Confessor Cabal squads, that is just absolutely not going to be happening. He may actually be getting caught, taking a little bit of extra damage from one of these Confessor squads yet, and on the rear armor even more so, which I'm assuming directional armor still does affect Scran. I'm not technically sure, but I would assume so. Over Green Zero going to be adding on that Operations Center and going immediately for the expand, so this is like Tier 2 expand, and the Flame Tank is out. Of course, since he is Black Hand, it starts out as a veteran Flame Tank. A little bit of damage there done to the Harvesters, but it's not a huge deal at all. Not like it's going to be throwing them into that low damage mode. Green Zero sending out scouting squads all over the map. I absolutely love it when players do this. He's got both the spikes. He's got a squad right in the middle. He's got a squad on each side. He knows exactly what the timing of the expansion for MasterLeaf is going to be. If MasterLeaf tried to do something crazy, funky, silly, and go for this expansion first, for whatever reason, Green Zero would know about it. He's got a squad over here going to be going in for the full scout off. Sees the Gunwalker, which really Gunwalker in combination with the Buzzer Squad. As you can see, it's hovering around the bottom of that Gunwalker. Going to be nice there. MasterLeaf just going to be cleaning up squads, which is always a good idea. Flame Tank going to be moving out. It does get spotted. MasterLeaf not pulling Seeker Tanks. He does spot the second Flame Tank, or likely knows that it's over there. Third Flame Tank at least being added on. Maybe even be the fourth Flame Tank. Not exactly sure. No, MasterLeaf actually going to be missing one of them. No, he doesn't. He turns them right around. So how many Flame Tanks are there? At least 4 by my count. I think that's number 5. My gosh, how many Flame Tanks are you going for? I mean, the Mass Flame style worked out for Green Zero earlier in the game. Going to be hiding it way up there in the corner. Might actually be waiting for MasterLeaf to pull these guys. That Napalm doing a huge amount of damage. Will almost lose those Seeker Tanks. Will claim one Seeker Tank. A second one could be going down. And Green Zero going to be getting his expansion up and running. Once again, going for this triple Harvester single ref style on the first field there. That Harvester is actually getting back to work. Wants to make sure that he does that versus just leaving it around. And oh, MasterLeaf hunting down these Flame Tanks. Absolutely great there. But does he actually have enough units? Does he have enough damage output to deal with these Flame Tanks? He didn't in Game 1, and this could be the end of it for... Oh, Green Zero going to be getting trapped by the Lightning Spike there. He won't get the Warp Sphere. He will get close, which means one of these follow-up Flame Tanks could be actually the ones finishing it off. This Flame Tank did survive, so a couple of more shots could be absorbed by it if Green Zero decides to pair it up, but he's already got his economy rolling on his second field. And, I mean, in the first game, we saw a huge economic disparity in favor of Green Zero. Second game, it was the opposite, where MasterLeaf was just dominating in the economics. And this could be the third game, where with the dual spike opener, he's going to be doing absolutely great. Green Zero could be absolutely crushing through MasterLeaf with this Mass Flame style. We'll have to see, though. Does he have another Flame Tank? Yeah, it is right there. So he's got at least 3 moving in. Oh, double gravity stabilizer dropped down, and Green Zero is in the back of the base. The Seekers are going to be responding. Green Zero won't actually be able to clean up any of these buildings. Does go for the farther gravity stabilizer, unfortunately, for Green Zero. He does pull back his Flame Tank. The next one is moving in, but it's not doing anything. Green Zero not optimizing his Flame Tanks as well as he could, but he's obviously doing other things as well. Just a slight mistake there by Green Zero. The drone ship does lift off. The power plant does not go down. One Flame Tank does still remain at least. The tech is still on the field, which means it is going to be beam cannons out for Green Zero. Is he going to be going for that tier 3 tech? Quite possibly, but it's also a man spam follow-up. He's got a single attack bike running around the field, which, I mean, Mass Beam Cannon could definitely end up working out for Green Zero. It does allow him to deal with those hexapods, but Mass Beam Cannon mixed with that man spam is going to be an absolutely great choice here. Dropping down the second barracks, needs to make sure that he gets it. Never mind, he's already got his Secret Shrine. He's already upgrading. Most likely going to be getting that Black Disciple upgrade, because really Purifying Flame wouldn't make a whole lot of sense at this point. Another Flame Tank going to be moving in, or is this the same one? No, one of them did get cleaned up right there. Storm Riders are out, and they have been revealed. But you know what's going to be great at dealing with Storm Riders is, of course, rocket squads and even just some bike buggy mixed in. But it is going to be Mass Beam Cannon versus the rocket squads, and versus tier 1 and even the Storm Riders being tier 2. That's going to work great. We need some Mechapeds out immediately from MasterLeaf, or he needs some absolutely killer counterattacks. But he already knows that it's here, and no Tib Core is not done. I don't think he has a tier 3. No, he doesn't have the tier 3. But with 6 Storm Riders here, oh, but the second AA does get dropped down. One Storm Rider does get taken out. I guess it was only 5 Storm Riders. Going to be taking out the Tiberium spikes, which is nice, but ultimately Green Zero is probably ahead in eco by quite a ways. I mean, he's harvested more Tiberium, but he's also had the spikes for 6 and almost 7 minutes. So 6.5 minutes, basically, or maybe about 6 even, that he's had these spikes. And the math on that adds up pretty quickly, and I'm not even going to try to do that on the fly, but now we do have those Confessor upgrades. Did get passed out earlier in the game. which means that the third base could be added on for Green Zero. Of course, that's what that means. However, one Storm Rider does go down. Three do escape. However, they are down 2 in that yellow, orange, and red sections, which means that they're not going to be very happy. This could be a game-ending push. Tier 1 is not going to be able to deal with this attacking force out of Green Zero, and the counterattack simply will not be enough. There's not 20-plus Storm Riders on the field. 3 or even the current 2 current 2 SAM turrets should be able to deal with that absolutely fine. There's 3 Storm Riders here. There is no way that MasterLeaf is going to be able to do the damage that he needs, and if he doesn't hold off this attack, it is going to take some sick buzzer control. Throwing away, no, never mind, not throwing anything away. Green Zero getting the scout off, although he is going to be wasting those holograms, which is just going to be a little bit unfortunate for him just because they won't be absorbing shots for his actual army. Could have mixed some of them in there, we'll have to see. But there's going to be the phase field. This is what MasterLeaf needs, but can he deal with the beam cannons? Because the gunwalkers may be dealing with the infantry, but if the beam cannons in the meantime are ripping up your economy and destroying the rest of your stuff, it doesn't matter if you got the crushes on the infantry. This is exactly what's happening. The extractor will maybe go down, however, the gravity stabilizer does block it off for a couple of moments there, but the damage output on these beam cannons is absolutely crazy right now, and their range means that they don't even have to get close to engage, so it's not like flame tanks where they have to be at a very close distance. The drone ship could be getting forced to lift off. Yeah, he drops down the power plant, going to be getting eliminated there. Needs to make sure that he takes out the barracks so that the more disintegrators don't tear his beam cannons apart. The gunwalkers have now, the phase has worn off, but forcing the move on the expansion, and the drone ship manages to escape, but double flame tank converging on the tech, and that is the end of Tier 3, which means no more Mechapedes. I don't even think he got any Mechapedes out in the first place. One flame tank does go down, the second flame tank does get eliminated, but the refinery's gone, the economy is mostly gone. We do have a fully heroic gunwalker there for... That is it. MasterLeaf has been defeated. GG. And Green Zero takes first place in the July Ladder Wars. A pretty darn good finals from both of these players. Competent games all throughout. It wasn't like, oh, well, clearly one of these players was playing like a total noob and the other one was totally awesome. It was just like both of these players were playing pretty darn well throughout. Were there mistakes? Absolutely, but they are human, and they did really well regardless. However, in total, about 13,000 credits of difference for Green Zero over the course of 8 minutes. That's a fair discrepancy, but as you can see, that really was just in past the 4.5 minute mark where that really started to kick in. Just under 9 minutes, MasterLeaf does drop that game, but a very even series overall between these two players and making planetary assault carriers work in game number 2, but Green Zero ultimately will be taking this series, and that will do it. Thank you very much for watching. We do have the other Ladder Wars coming up, and this is Sybert signing out.